Animal rights activists have broken into a laboratory in Kent and say they have evidence for the first time that monkeys and stolen pet dogs are being used in experiments. The South East Animal Liberation League say the monkeys are being kept in cramped conditions at the Royal College of Surgeons research farm near Orpington. The college deny having any stolen animals and say the monkeys are not used for live surgery.
The group themselves filmed the break-in by about 60 of their members this morning. They claim to have uncovered slides and files which they later copied. The slides are all of monkeys. According to the Royal College of Surgeons, monkeys are used but not for vivisection. According to the Home Office, there's nothing new in their use. Until 1980, it wasn't necessary to specify that the licence was required for a monkey. Only then were they given the same status as horses, requiring specification. But the protesters say today was a complete success.
All about 6 months preparation work went into it, where small groups were going to the laboratory and looking around it, photographs taken with telephoto lenses, and we also wanted to see where the police would be coming from and how long they would take to get to the site after the alarm was raised. Well, we did have some information provided internally, and we did three plans, 2 external plans and 1 internal plan, and each person was given a copy of these and also a plan of action. It was stressed that it would be a lightning raid into 2 units, the monkey unit and the dog unit, and that the minimal damage and breakage would take place. Went in there to get the files out, and we estimated that we'd be in there no longer than 10 minutes, after which the alarm would be given to get out, and we would have to make our exit as quickly as possible.
The main point to make about this raid, apart from the actual planning of the raid itself, is to plan the follow-up, and to plan the follow-up in terms of the media. Now, on the Royal College of Surgeons, within 3 hours of the raid happening, ITN were provided with a video of the dogs and some slides of the monkeys and some documents. Their documents we copied. We'd already had film developed, and it was at the Daily Mirror. So the point is that we presented the information and the news very quickly, which gives them time to go through it and present and get a good story, which is what we got. Because we were on headlines on ITN, got TV/AM coverage.
As you may have heard on the news, members of a group calling itself the South East Animal Liberation League yesterday broke into the research establishment run by the Royal College of Surgeons in Kent. They came out with some disturbing pictures, followed by some very dramatic allegations. Lou Radford reports.
50 animal activists were involved in the raid. Using an amateur camera crew, they filmed several breeds of dog inside the research establishment's kennels. The activists claim that because the dogs are not beagles, the breed normally used for experiments, they come from sources other than those officially approved. They claim that they found documents proving that the Royal College of Surgeons is using these dogs for experiments. Close inspection of these documents reveals lists of various breeds, including Old English Sheepdog and Springer Spaniel. One document refers to a male Alsatian, described as an oldish, friendly dog, but a little wary. The raiders believe this example is proof that the animals were once domestic pets and were never bred for experimentation. They claim the establishment gets such dogs from unauthorized dealers who have bought or stolen pets from unsuspecting owners. The group also obtained slides of monkeys undergoing experiments, allegedly the first time such photographic evidence has been taken in Britain. The Home Office has been quick to point out that experiments on monkeys have been taking place here for many years, and that since 1980 anyone experimenting on monkeys is legally bound to apply for a special licence. Anyone with such a licence is carefully monitored by Home Office inspectors who check that animals are not suffering. But yesterday's discovery of documents apparently relating how monkeys died, possibly of shock after hanging from inside their cages, are, claim the activists, proof that appalling cruelty is rampant.
Well, with me now is John Williams, spokesperson for the South East Animal Liberation League. John, good morning to you. I'm sure that many people would sympathise with your cause, but they wouldn't sympathise or agree with your action, your deed in breaking into this building. How do you justify an illegal act?
Well, firstly, it's very hard to have any respect for a law which allows that kind of cruelty to animals. And secondly, if people weren't willing to just put a few doors in, you'd never have seen this, because no vivisector will ever let you or an MP or the ISPCA into a laboratory.
Nevertheless, I'm sure you must concede that whatever the cause, if everyone behaved in this way, we'd have anarchy, wouldn't we? We cannot, allow people to behave like this.
Yeah, to get it in perspective, what happened yesterday, people went in, broke a few doors in, a few windows, caused absolutely minimal damage. They could have smashed the place up, but they didn't. They went in there to show the public what's going on. And I think sometimes Martin Luther King showed it, Gandhi showed it. Occasionally, you have to break the law.
All right, let's have a look at examine the evidence you found. You've got some documents on your knee there. We saw them in Lou Radford's report there, suggesting anyway that some of the dogs in there are stolen dogs. They're from breeders who've picked them up illegally. I've looked at those documents too. I agree with you that is a suggestion, but there's no definitive proof, is there?
Well, there is, because the Medical Research Council has lists of accredited breeders. That means breeders they recognise. There is only one dog produced for laboratory experiment in Britain. That's the Beagle. About 95% of all dogs produced are a Beagle. There are a few Labradors bred. Other than that, no other dogs whatsoever are bred for vivisection. And I've got a list of the dogs that we've actually photographed, and people can refer to us for the photos of pointers, collies, Springer Spaniels, mongrels, Labradors, Alsatians, Red Setters, Terriers, Greyhounds. The list is absolutely endless. And as you can also see from these files, it's quite clear that these are ex-pets. It describes little scars they've got, little mannerisms they've got. So clearly, if people are able to see these and we can get them to a wide audience, we're confident that someone in the country will recognise their dog.
But is it likely, John, that a body such as the Royal College of Surgeons will behave in this way?
Well, it's absolutely likely, and the reason is that they're a registered charity, and unlike ICI or Beecham's, who can afford to buy beagles, a registered charity such as a university or a hospital, because they're also linked, Guy's Hospital's linked, they can't afford to buy those dogs, so they're willing to go to unscrupulous dealers.
It is denied by them, I should point out. And I must put one other point to you, that unpalatable as it may be to you and thousands, if not millions, of pet lovers all over the country, the fact remains that these experiments are being done for medical research. Now, if we are to advance medical research and medical understanding, isn't this something that, regrettably, we have to accept?
Now, vivisection has absolutely nothing to do with health. The main motive of all vivisection is healthy profits for the drug companies in the end, not healthy people.
Are you absolutely positive about that? Because isn't it quite likely that through this kind of research and these kind of experiments, medical science itself could be improved? I mean, they might actually one day be saving a human life. Now, surely, again, unpalatable as it is to you, it's better to save a human life and sacrifice a few animals.
Well, first of all, I mean, everyone watching this has seen drug disasters coming up every week, thick and fast. All those drugs are tested on thousands of animals. And the other point we'd make is that we find it morally unacceptable. Animals have certain rights, and we believe they have a right not to be vivisected. And if you really want a healthy country, we should start looking at a better diet, better lifestyle, less stress in people's lifestyle, because it will really be through preventive medicine that we're going to cure cancer and heart disease, which are, after all, the two big killers in Western society.
John Williams, thank you very much for joining us.
Orthodox medical world, of course, maintains that animals are being sacrificed to a good cause. But the result of their sacrifices inevitably leads medicine into the cul-de-sac of drug therapy. There are many other methods of treating mankind than merely through drugs and surgery. The thing that is basically wrong is that we are using dreadful methods, harmful, cruel methods on animals to produce a system of treatment which is going nowhere anyway.
It's important, I think, to have someone who looks smart, like wear a tie, etc., because that looks, from the point of view of the public, it looks good. You don't come across as guerrillas or terrorists, you just come across as average people. You need to have one person has the task really of being the upfront person, the person who's going to go on the television, go on the media, who they can contact. The media would like to have someone they contact. So it's important to have a car ready to take people up to Fleet Street. It's important to have photocopying equipment and have developing equipment and get it all done as quickly as possible. The second aspect of the follow-up is to get the follow-up of the campaign itself. In this case, 10,000 leaflets have gone out within a couple of weeks of the raid happening in the area which we believe the dogs are coming from. Additionally, we've done large blow-ups of the photographs of the dogs, and things are planned, a number of different things at all different levels are planned for the Royal College of Surgeons. So But in a more general instance, it's important that while you're planning the raid, you plan in advance what you want to do afterwards. So it might be a good idea as soon as the raid's over to have a demonstration there 3 or 4 days later. See, the point is that certain elements in our movement, certain people are still preaching the fact that all we should be doing is rescuing animals and smashing up laboratories. Well, both those are very excellent pursuits, but in themselves they're not attracting the media they were originally. 5 years ago, taking beagles out, rescuing rabbits, etc., was publicity. It was newsworthy, but it isn't anymore. When we consulted papers before this event, they weren't really interested in the aspect of rescuing animals. They're more interested in what's going on in the laboratory and in video coverage. So it'd be nice if groups looked to the future and looked at being flexible in our approach. This raid was different from all the other SEAL raids. Obviously some areas we can't go into for security reasons, but we were willing to examine the whole tactics of SEAL. An important point in any of these daytime raids is that when the video crew go in, they should be well protected and well guarded and helped by the animal rights activists, because they've got the task of carrying fairly heavy equipment. They've got to be worrying about things like light, sound, etc., and all the technical aspects. So it's very important that when you're on a raid, if you see video people, you show them around, you break doors for them or whatever, but you must aid them, because after all, what they're taking is the most important aspect of what you're doing. Perhaps the only thing that didn't go to plan in this whole event was what happened at the Daily Mirror. We took slides that were stolen slides to ITN, and they were well aware they were stolen, and they were willing to use them. So we naturally assumed that the situation would be the same with the Daily Mirror. Well, we took some slides along, fortunately not all the slides, and we showed them, and they realised they were good dramatic slides. So they took them. Now, unfortunately, on Monday, the next day, they informed us that they'd spoken to their lawyer, and their lawyer said that they should have to return those slides immediately to the police, which to our disgust and to our horror, they did. This meant that we didn't get the exclusive that the Mirror had promised. However, from the slight mistake we made with the Mirror, we did actually manage to get more press out of it, because the City Limits did an article condemning the Mirror, and also the issue got round Fleet Street, so it didn't do the Mirror's credibility much good. Again, but it's worth pointing out that although the follow-up we got from the Mirror incident was not directly concerned with animal rights, it did still include the Royal College of Surgeons, all about stolen dogs and monkeys, etc., so it kept the issue going. But when we found that when you're handling the press, naturally you want to do the nationals first and the television channels, and if you're doing the rain on the weekend, you can handle the nationals on the Sunday and the Monday, and possibly a bit on the Tuesday. By the Tuesday, you want to be hitting the local press. Now, we've had absolutely enormous front pages for 2 weeks on the trot, and it'll probably go on, we estimate, for another 2 months, with front page and feature articles. And the reason is that, again, one person was allocated to deal with the local press. Someone who had good contacts, who had worked with them before, was able to provide the press with everything. It's very important when you're dealing with the locals that you have the photographs, that you have copies of the documents, so that you can go along and say, look, here you are. Perhaps you can highlight certain items in the documents, but if you can just give the press the material, give them a few statements, you can then go away and they can do it at their leisure. Again, of course, it's important that you only give them copies.
3.5.
Actually, if you look here, you've got a screwdriver. I'm going to unscrew it.
Oh, but I think, oh, here they are.
I'm going to go round, I'm going to have a look around the back.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't actually get around that way, no? You've got half decent barbed wire.
Oh.
Always fighting. Not surprised, stuck in that. Yeah, you can see him.
So what airline is it then?
British Midlands have stopped transporting monkeys for research.
But yeah, there was so there's loads of different animals out there. I suppose them
Out the thing last week then?
Why?
You scummy!
I've seen it.
Oh, anybody else want to see him?
Thank God you get an old man to come out and do your dirty work. Can't face as yourself.
Who's these?
How's your transport situation?
Oh, where's Plumpton, was it?
Put them back in that envelope.
Yeah,
Those bowing. Feel better, scum, for that. Does it give you some sort of satisfaction? Oh, what are you hiding behind the gate for? Does it make up for your inadequacies? You're scum! And you cat round the corner! Right in hell! Why don't you come out and face us instead of turning your back away? You've got to hide! Out of a drill, isn't it? Or a saw? Scum!
Well, that didn't take long, did it?
No.
We're like a sunbather.
It's all in mind really when you think that
Oh, here they come.
lock up the badger set anyway, isn't it? So we go outside, we're unlocking the house. Oh, I've been out with
You son of a bitch!